It's currently 7:52 p.m. Most recently, I've been editing the July 17, my dinner video project in Camtasia, 2019. As I also did after I woke up naturally today, and while having breakfast at my mom's place before she drove me to the Wegmans I work at. Around 8:30 in the morning, I had essentially scrambled eggs with some sliced diced green peppers, I think it was meant to be an omelet, but I recall it looked more like scrambled eggs. Either way, those eggs were delicious. And the green peppers were good too. I had that with my first and only cup of plain coffee today. My shift at Wegmans was from 9:30 in the morning to 6 p.m. My mom picked me up after my shift, and I recall sleeping today roughly from 4:15 in the morning to about 6:30 in the morning. And those roughly 2 hours of sleep, I think, made a considerable difference in terms of how I felt during my shift. I only recall feeling a little tired, for about an hour after I had around 1:30 p.m. which was when I took my first 15-minute break, a CBR sandwich with shoestring fries from the Rock City Sammich food truck Wegmans had. Outside on the part of the parking lot where vendor / supplier trucks stop for loading and unloading. That food truck was out for today's Employee Appreciation Week event. I went out to the receiving part of the employees only warehouse and at the time I was the only one out. But prior to me taking my first 15-minute break, as I was working in the produce department, as I always do at Wegmans, I saw coworkers walking around both on the floor and in the back with orders from the food truck. It was all paid for. So it was free for everyone. A sort of cooler within the receiving part of the employees only warehouse, or the back, offered some free varieties of beverages, of which I opted for something new for me, in this case a strawberry lemonade flavored super water. It tasted good, and I sipped at that into after my first 15-minute break ended. Though if I get a chance to, perhaps next time I'll try the cucumber lime flavor of that same drink. See if maybe I'll like that one more. I took my 30-minute lunch roughly from 4 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Though I just had a single mozzarella cheese stick from the break room. I had a lunch in the refrigerator of the break room that my mom made me. That was similar to this, what I'm having currently. I'm currently drinking this as I don't want to waste it. This bottle of Upstate Farms branded whole milk, 16 ounces, tastes perfectly fine. I decided to save my lunch for later. As I didn't want to eat too much. Most likely I'm going to end up falling asleep by 10 p.m. I'll go to bed either then or when I next feel tired. Whichever comes first. I knew that in advance, as I recalled I had only gotten roughly 2 hours of sleep last night, and that factored at least a little into me deciding to save my lunch for later. What I'm having currently is not my lunch from then. My mom made me another salad. After getting back at her place. I recall feeling a little tired for about an hour or so. Afterward, as I worked on editing the July 17, my dinner video project in Camtasia 2019. But as of now, at 8:24 p.m., I feel perfectly fine. I took my second and last 15-minute break around 5:30 p.m. Generally throughout my shift, aside from roughly the hour or so after my first 15-minute break that I took around 1:30 p.m., I was perfectly fine. I didn't feel tired at all. While I most often restocked the hard items section and the banana section of the produce department, the hard items section being predominantly different varieties of onions and potatoes. I also restocked the bulk wall of the produce department, the bulk wall of the produce department, which is on the right side of the produce department and predominantly consists of loose or semi-loose produce products with PLU codes, so passing customers can decide how much of a product they would like on a by weight or by quantity basis using one of a few scales placed throughout the regular produce department. You won't find those scales at the front sections or the front displays of the produce department. The front sections and the front displays are different sections of the produce department. And I restocked those sections of the produce department today too. I recall restocking a wooden crate of bulk green beans for the bulk wall, along with a wax paper box of broccoli crowns, which I also did at another point for one of the front displays of the produce department. And there were also a few points in which I used a hand jack to restock either regular watermelons or mini seedless watermelons at either one of the front displays of the produce department or at the two nearby open flat displays for regular watermelons at one of the front entrances of the supermarket. That's between the main part of the supermarket and the transitional area of the supermarket. The transitional area being between the main part of the supermarket and the parking lot of the supermarket and being where you'll find the shopping carts, unless they've recently been used, in which case you'll most likely find them in the parking lot. I use that hand jack to transport a large octagonal cardboard container used to store and transport either regular watermelons or mini seedless watermelons. Though because of how wide the hand jack and those large octagonal cardboard containers are, I can only travel through maybe 2 or so paths from the section of the employees only warehouse for those who work in the produce department through the whole produce department all the way to that front entrance where those flat open displays are. The two that are close to each other, as only those two paths are wide enough to comfortably get that hand jack and large octagonal cardboard container that's on a wooden pallet that's on the forks of the hand jack, hand jack through, and even then I have to be careful to ensure I don't hit or touch anything with either the hand jack or, especially as it's a little wider, the large octagonal cardboard container. At one point towards the later part of my shift, in the section of the employees only warehouse for those who work in the produce department, I saw that my new name tag with my pronouns had come in. My pronouns are he, him, his, as I'm a cisgender male. Though my scene, this new name tag coming in was unrelated to me briefly being taken to a small employee computer room, within the employees only warehouse so I could log in to one of the computers programmed specifically for employees at Wegmans and be directed by an older male supervisor coworker to enter my pronouns somewhere in my online employee profile. I did this prior to me noticing my new name tag had come in the employees only warehouse. I'm currently 13 minutes into editing the July 17 My Dinner video in Camtasia 2019, or about halfway there. I was roughly 8 minutes in when my mom and I left her place so I could be driven to the Wegmans I work at. I recall during my first 15-minute break, I prepared for the photos and raw video clips of the July 21 My Dinner video project on my phone to be transferred to my laptop upon getting back to my mom's place. And during my 30-minute lunch, I reviewed the video and audio of the uploaded July 16 My Dinner video on my YouTube channel to make sure the upload process went okay, and it did. So I deleted the rendered July 16, my dinner video project file, and the raw video clips and photos I used to make that rendered my dinner video project file off of my laptop.